Welcome to Dish and Nutrition Podcast, where we dish on trending nutrition topics, all the while making it easy and fun to understand. I'm your host, Sarah Williams.
I'm your co-host, Emma Boland.
Isn't it so nice to hear Emma's voice again?
Hey, guys.
I'm so glad you're back.
I'm so sad that you kicked me off last week.
I did not kick you off. My inability to work podcasting equipment kicked you off.
It's okay.
And we're actually struggling this week, so our sound's probably going to sound horrible.
It's okay. You do more than me, so I can't be mad.
I need to assemble a team, but I don't even know what that looks like. Anyway, happy Labor Day weekend. I hope you're spending it with people you love.
What's the origin of
Labor Day? What is the etiology of Labor Day? Labor Day is a federal holiday in the United States celebrated on the first Monday of September to honor and recognize the American labor movement and the works of the contributions of laborers to the development achievements of the United States.
Okay, so
I guess if you work.
If you are employed and being a mother counts.
Yeah, it does.
Then enjoy your laboring. Your non-laboring.
Yeah.
Yes. Alrighty, Sarah, what are we dishing today?
Today we are dishing on... I realized, going back through the episodes, I had not talked about what the heck macronutrients or micronutrients are. I just kind of talked about them as if it was like common knowledge. And I wanted an episode where it just kind of lays the groundwork of nutrition and explains the foundations that basically nutrition stems off of. So today we're talking about macronutrients and micronutrients.
Woo!
Whoop, whoop. Don't get too wild. Emma, what do you know about macronutrients?
Gotta track your macros and micros. I know macros is carbs, fats, proteins, and it's apparently a really big deal to track them in the weightlifting world.
Yes, I did fall down a macro tracking world a few years ago, and it can be a good tool. We've talked about it.
I was gonna say, yeah, I do feel like some people, like Whitney Simmons, tracks hers and. Like I feel like does it in a healthy way. Yeah.
I mean, of course, we don't know Miss Whitney personally, but she portrays a relatively healthy relationship with food and has a good mindset about it. So, like I've said previously, if you're not someone who struggles with that, I'm not jealous of you at all. But it is a good tool to have in your tool belt if it's something that you kind of want to be aware of how much you're eating and what you're eating. What the heck are even macronutrients? Let's get into it. We're going to start with the macronutrients. Macro means large, like the big ones. These are the nutrients our bodies needs in large amounts to function correctly. There are 3 primary macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And every food you eat is made up of some sort of ratio of all 3. Some foods are going to be high fatty and like have no carbs, but like it will have some sort of macronutrient attached to it. Food are macronutrients. Is macronutrients? Whatever is grammatically correct. But each play a huge crucial role in keeping our bodies running smoothly. So think of macronutrients as like your body is a car, and this is the gas of the car. This is like what keeps your car getting you places.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the basis of macros. Before we get into that, what is just the basis of micros real quick so I can kind of have that in the back of my head?
Yeah. So micronutrients, they're the smaller but equally important counterparts.
Okay.
These are the vitamins and minerals our bodies need in smaller amounts, but they're essential for proper functioning.
Okay.
So macronutrients are the gas of the car. They keep you going. And micronutrients are going to be the little things that keep your car running efficiently.
Like an oil change.
Spark plugs, car talk. You know what I mean?
Love that.
The little things that don't really contribute to the car getting from point A to point B like gas does, but it helps run the car entirely efficiently.
Got it. Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's a good basis of the episode.
Good deal. All right. So let's jump into the macronutrients and talk about which ones are what and what they do. So my favorite macronutrient is carbohydrates. And I have it labeled energy because that's what carbohydrates are. Carbohydrates are the body's primary energy source. When we eat carbs, our body converts them into glucose because if you remember our previous episode about sugars and everything, carbohydrates are chains of glucose. And that determines how it works in your body. This fuels our cells, tissues, and organs and goes way deeper than you could probably even imagine. And this is especially important for our brain and muscles during physical activity. So carbohydrates, quick synopsis, there are simple versus complex carbs. Simple carbohydrates like those found in sugars, fruits. Man, this is great timing because I just talked about sugars and stuff last week. They are quickly absorbed and provide immediate energy. Whereas complex carbohydrates, things like with fiber, like those in whole grains, veggies, legumes, are digested more slowly, offering sustained energy. Did you know glucose, which is the basis of all carbohydrates, is the preferred fuel source for the brain?
I didn't know that. So basically you're telling me is I can just eat sugar.
That's how some people read into that.
Yeah.
But fun fact, the brain is the body's most energy demanding organ and uses half of the body's sugar energy.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact.
Hence, like, if you have too much sugar, like, that's where you get a sugar high?
No, that's just increase of your
blood sugar. Yeah.
But
like,
your brain uses a lot. Your brain needs a lot of carbohydrates to function and work. But carbs are essential for physical performance, brain function, and overall energy levels. That's kind of like when, I know I have, and I would take a gander that you've probably tried low carb at some point in your life.
Yeah.
So when you were doing low carb but not really adhering the strict parameters of keto, you weren't really in ketosis. You were just like not providing your brain enough of carbohydrates. Did you feel sluggish and like super brain fog?
Headache.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's, if you don't have enough carbs, you might feel sluggish, mentally foggy, or find it difficult to perform basically at your baseline.
All these topics just go back hand in hand with each other.
I know, it's great. It's kind of like nutrition
full
is
circle.
All, I know, it's a full circle. It's all connected.
Interesting how that works.
And before people come at me with their pitchforks, the keto warriors, you can, I'm not ignoring biochemistry, you can survive with little to no carbohydrates. Your body will go into ketosis if you are without carbohydrates for a specific amount of time with very strict parameters. Like 98% of the people who are like doing keto at home are not really adhering to the parameters of the keto diet, which we should do an episode on that.
On keto?
Yeah.
Have we not?
I don't think so. I think I've touched on it on every episode.
Dude,
but I don't think
keto is wild.
It is absolutely wild.
We should totally do that because I have some crazy stories from like restaurant days.
Oh, heck yeah. But if you're truly in ketosis, your body will use fat as energy instead. And this is a survival mechanism. And it's not something that should be done unless you're like on a deserted island and have no choice. Like it shouldn't be like, I don't know, I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on that, and I'm going to save that for that episode.
All right, yeah. Future episode, look out.
So how many carbohydrates should you be eating a day? No, this is just like, if you want to track, this is a number to attach it to. So the recommended dietary allowance, RDA for short, is set by the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine. For most adults, the RDA for carbohydrates is about 130 grams per day. I don't love one number for everybody. I don't love that me and someone down the street have the same amount of recommended because like we have like
it's not one size fits all.
Exactly. So what I usually tell patients or clients, I go by the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, and it recommends for your carbohydrates should constitute 45 to 65% of your total daily calories. So more than half of your calories should be coming from carbohydrates. This does not mean you should like eat an entire bag of chips and be like, well, it has to be more than half be coming from complex carbohydrates, things that actually have nutrients in them and things like that.
Wait, 45%? That's excluding fats and proteins?
Correct. So 45 to 65% of your total daily calories should come from carbohydrates.
I thought protein was supposed to be pretty equal.
No, so that's a really big misconception, and we can talk about... Oh, yeah, protein's next. Did I send you this script?
Look at that.
So let's jump into protein since you are asking about it. I labeled these the body's building blocks. So proteins are made up of amino acids, which are crucial for rebuilding and building tissues, muscle, skin, organs, things like that. Proteins are made up of 20 different amino acids. These amino acids link together in various sequences to form the vast array of proteins in the body. Of the 20, 9 are considered.
Mom, I full up.
Of the 20, 9 are considered essential amino acids, meaning you have to eat them from the diet because your body can't produce them. The remaining 11 are non-essential amino acids, which the body can produce on its own. I had to memorize both sets just at different times, so I had to know all 9 and all 11. Don't ask me to recite them now. I brain dumped that. When you consume protein-rich foods, those proteins are broken down into their individual amino acids during digestion, and then the body uses those amino acids where it's necessary for various functions like muscle repair, enzyme production, and immune support. So very important and very useful for a lot of things. I have a lot of people ask me about complete and incomplete proteins. Does that ring a bell
I've
to you?
heard that, but you know.
So complete proteins, they're found in like animal products like meat, eggs, and dairy. Those contain all 9 essential amino acids that our body can't produce on its own. So if you're eating a piece of meat, you're getting a complete protein. Incomplete proteins, however, are found in like plant-based foods like beans and nuts, and they might lack one or more of the essential amino acids. But you can combine different plant proteins to ensure you get a complete profile. So we kind of touched on this in the collagen episode because collagen is an incomplete protein. But like I said, if you had the collagen and then paired it with like a glass of milk, it makes that a complete profile. So it's not that big of a deal. But if you are someone who adheres to a plant-based diet or a vegetarian.
That's what Vic was telling me, how protein that she uses was labeled incomplete.
Yeah, you have to be very... If you're someone who does adhere to those dietary guidelines for yourself, you just have to be aware to make sure you're getting complete proteins. It's kind of like a puzzle.
Okay, so then because I cut having friends that are vegan, like what would be a good way? So for example, she's using that protein that is considered incomplete because it's plant-based. I think she said it's coming from like rice and something else. Like how can you supplement that?
Amino acid is missing and then finding a counterpart that complements that missing amino acid. I would have to see the profile.
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't know it off the top of my head. Yeah. But it's like I said, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, that is a puzzle.
It's like a puzzle and it's fun, but I would find it exhausting to do every single day. The recommended range. So when I was learning this in undergrad, I actually was kind of surprised because we're in such a protein-heavy society. And don't get me wrong, I love finding ways to add protein for satiety purposes, but not really just because, like, gotta get gains type reasons. But the recommended range for protein intake is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of your body to 1.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. So this is dependent on many things. If you're someone who just works a sedentary job, you're not really working out, you're not really putting strain on your body, you only probably need about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight.
So then like for someone... So
it's not like that's less than 100. So it's not
100
huge.
grams?
Yeah. So if you're sedentary and you're not challenging your body or like you're not tearing muscle,
I do not get that much.
You're not getting that much?
No. I always see that you should probably be trying to get at least 30 to 40 grams per meal, and I don't do that.
No, that's in a perfect world, maybe, but that's really hard to do.
No, it is. It really is. Hard to do.
It's like, yeah, okay, that's cool for dinner, and then lunch, I don't know, maybe I'm busy and on the go. Breakfast, I don't have that big of an appetite. So it's just like...
No, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I try to adhere to 1 gram per kilogram of body weight. That way it's kind of like 1 to 1. And even that is kind of challenging. But if you're someone who is working out a little bit, you're a casual physical activity person, then yeah, it should be about 0.8 to 1. But if you're someone who's in the Olympics... Or when I was doing ICU calculations and they were a burn patient or they had some type of huge trauma to the body, I would do like 1.8 to even 2.0 of grams per kilogram of body weight because they needed that much muscle repair and things for their body. But if you're just a regular Joe Schmo on the street, you really don't need a ton.
I do find, though, I will say that when I eat more protein, I'm less likely to like crave... Because I'm full longer.
I love protein for satiety.
So I'm less likely to like, oh, well, now I want ice cream because like that protein almost just fills me up to where I don't need I don't know. That's what I noticed at least.
1000%. That's because proteins, they are in such, like I said, they're linked together.
Yeah.
There's 20 of them. So it takes a while for them to be broken down. And your body's working on doing that. And your blood sugar is good.
That my brain's not craving ice cream. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, now we need to talk about fats, which I labeled the body's reserve energy source. Ooh. Yes, I love fats. It's a very misunderstood macronutrient. Poor guy, just gets a bad rap. But it's crucial for good health. They provide a concentrated source of energy. They help absorb fat-soluble vitamins, which are your A, D, E, and K, and are necessary for hormone production and brain health. So very important to have them. So there are different types of fats. I think that's where it kind of gets misconstrued. There are saturated fats, unsaturated fats, and trans fats. So the unsaturated fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts, those are typically the most nutrient-dense ones. Whereas saturated fats, which are found mostly in animal products and some tropical oils, should be consumed in moderation. You don't have to completely take them out of your diet unless your doctor has advised you to for specific medical conditions. But if you're healthy in the general population, you don't have to completely eliminate, but it is smart to monitor. And then trans fats, which are found in processed foods, should be avoided as much as possible. However, trans fats have been completely eliminated and are not even allowed in foods anymore. So I don't know why we still talk about them, but they are, I guess, chemically still a thing.
What's considered trans fats? Would be high fructose corn syrup?
No, so that's just a sweetener.
I know that's sugar based, but
yeah, so that's not considered a trans fat. Some examples of trans fats. It's known as partially hydrogenated oil, which you cannot do anymore, but they used to be found in shortening, frozen pizza, biscuits and rolls, things like that. But the organizations have noticed how badly it affects our health. So they completely banned it. So
that's good.
If you look on every nutrition label, trans fats aren't even on there anymore.
Thank God.
They were like, this tastes good, but it's killing people.
I wonder why everyone has cancer.
And then there's more subtypes of saturated fats, like monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. We like monounsaturated better than poly, but poly you still want to get a good balance of and a good ratio of. That's a whole other conversation. Fats are crucial for maintaining cell structure, protecting vital organs, and supporting brain function. And they also play a role in managing inflammation and can even impact mood and mental health. Yeah, so it gets a bad rap for, this is high in fat. It's going to inflame my body, whatever that means when people say that. But it actually helps manage inflammation in certain cases.
So you said that carbohydrates are energy for the body, but then you also said fats are. So how are fats as well in comparison with carbohydrates?
Yeah, so both are energy. Carbohydrates are the preferred source of energy, but fats are used as energy through a process called lipolysis and beta oxidation. Boy, does this take me back. Here's kind of a simplified breakdown. So in lipolysis, when your body needs energy and is low on glucose, like say you're fasting, you're on a low carb diet or prolonged exercise, and by prolonged, I mean again, deserted island type thing, not just you hitting the gym, whatever. It breaks down stored fat in fat cells, so your adipose tissue, into fatty acids and glycerol. Then those fatty acids and glycerol are released into the bloodstream and are transported to various tissues, including muscles and the liver. All right. And then beta oxidation happens. In the cells, fatty acids undergo beta oxidation in the mitochondria, which is the
powerhouse of the cell.
Yay!
I will never forget.
No, literally. I have that ingrained in my brain since 7th grade. All right. During this I can't file my taxes, but I know what that is. Anyway. During that process, fatty acids are broken down into smaller molecules called acetyl-CoA. I'm having flashbacks of panicking about my midterm about biochemistry. Acetyl-CoA then enters the Krebs cycle. Can I just show you what the Krebs cycle is and how often I had to memorize this?
I'm just really thankful I went with my business degree and can tell you how to create SOPs and not have to literally memorize that makes me want to cry.
That is the Krebs cycle.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, no, it makes me want to cry. But I also really felt accomplished when I looked at it.
Oh, I bet.
Anyway, so it goes into the Krebs cycle, where it's further processed to produce ATP. Adenosine triphosphate, and that is the primary energy carrier in cells, and the ATP generated from the breakdown of the fatty acids provides energy. So way longer process than glucose. You can see why your body prefers carbohydrates, but it is still used for energy, just takes a lot longer. So the recommendations for fat, the dietary guidelines for Americans recommends about 20 to 35% of your total daily calories of fats, and preferably from unsaturated sources with limited saturated fats. So you asked a really good question regarding macronutrients. I don't know if it was heard on mic, but you said like how many macronutrients, like what percentage a day should we be eating macronutrients? And I said 100% because that's all of our eating. Because everything is macronutrients.
But what about vegetables?
So vegetables would be more so, depending on the vegetable, it would be probably fall into the carbohydrate macronutrient.
Asparagus is a carb?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Think of it as like a circle, and 45 to 65%, it's like a pie diagram.
Yeah.
45 to 65% of those calories, paint it red, and that's carbohydrates. And then you're going to do 25 to 35% of that as fats.
Yeah.
Whatever color you want that to be. And then the rest.
Pink.
Pink for protein. So all of that equals 100%. Within that diagram, you're going to have micronutrients. So the micronutrients are inside the macronutrients if they're coming from foods. This is aside from supplements and things like that. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. Okay. I honestly never tracked. That was never something I did. So I just knew about tracking macros. I didn't realize macros were within.
I personally, unless you have like a deficiency, you need to keep an eye on it. I have not met someone who's like, I'm tracking my micronutrients. This is kind of where like getting a balanced diet of different fruits and vegetables comes in, just to make sure you're getting the different micronutrients and vitamins and minerals. So vitamins and minerals are micronutrients. All right. So a part of micronutrients are vitamins, and I called these the body's catalysts. And vitamins are organic compounds that are crucial for various biochemical processes in the body. These can be divided into two categories, water soluble and fat soluble. We kind of touched on these, I believe, our supplements episode. Just a quick rundown. Water-soluble vitamins these include the B vitamins and vitamin C. They're not stored in the body, and you need to consume them regularly for your diet. And then B vitamins are vital for energy production, brain function, and while vitamin C is important for immune function and skin health. Just a quick tidbit. And then the fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K. So unlike water-soluble vitamins, these are stored in the body's fat tissue, and you have to be cautious and cognizant of like your supplement usage because it could come to a toxicity level. And then, vitamin D is good for your bone health. Vitamin A is for vision, immune function. E acts as an antioxidant, and vitamin K is necessary for blood clotting. So those are micronutrients when people are talking about like vitamins. And then when you hear people say, vitamins and minerals, I'm going to call them the body's regulators. They're inorganic elements that play a key role in maintaining various bodily functions, and they can be divided into even further sub-2 groups. Macrominerals, which is kind of confusing because we're talking about macronutrients, but these are macrominerals and trace minerals. So macrominerals, that's going to include calcium, potassium, magnesium, which are needed in larger amounts. These are electrolytes. These are very important, essential for bone health, regulate fluid balance, your heart rhythm.
Is iron in that too?
So iron,
is it really trace?
Is a trace element, is a trace mineral.
Really? I feel like people say like not having enough iron is such a big deal.
No, it is. So that's like your Yes, it is. But it is considered a trace mineral, and that's iron, zinc, selenium. They're needed in smaller amounts, but I did say they're no less important.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. Even though macro is like the bigger one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And iron is crucial for oxygen transport in the blood. We all know our anemic friends.
Our good old, yeah.
Zinc supports immune function and wound healing, and selenium plays in antioxidant defense and thyroid function. But yes, that is how they're just a little bit broken down.
Interesting.
One is not more important than the other. Mm-hmm. They're just different categories.
Yeah, just like you're thinking it as like a food pyramid almost.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But not even that, because it's not a hierarchy. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a square, I guess, because they're all equally important. Circle, whatever shape you like. All right, well, now that like everyone's super confused and has completely checked out of my chemistry class, I get that. But I did want a reference episode when people ask me about what are macronutrients. I don't understand. How much of carbohydrates should I be eating? How much of protein? Here's a reference. Here you go. Cite Sarah Williams and Emma Boland. Like, do you have any questions? I know that was a lot.
No, that was a good episode. It was definitely like really clarifying. Some of it I feel like contradicts each other, just with like the zinc as a trace, but it's just as important. So I don't know, but that's just me.
I think you're getting stuck
honing in on the verbiage
the word
of it.
Trace.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's like lesser than.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But
I loved that. That was a good episode.
Okay, good.
It's interesting to like hear that and think about how people think that like, oh, well, actually, this is more important than this, and this is more important than this. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, literally.
I feel like it's a constant battle.
It's a constant battle of being like, nope, it's all important for your health.
Yeah.
And you need a good balance of it all. And just to end this episode, to make sure you're getting a good variety of those micronutrients in your macronutrients, is eating a balanced diet and making sure you're getting a bountiful, colorful plate almost every time you eat. I'm not going to say every time because we are human.
So like some applicable examples of micronutrients would be
eating your fruits and veggies. Those are loaded with
love that.
Micronutrients. Things with lots of fiber. There's lots of they're everywhere, but not, and you have to look for them, but they are there.
Being mindful of.
Yeah, you just have to be mindful of your choices, and that's where everything stems from, is just mindfulness. And make sure you're getting a lot of micronutrients, because those are the things that keep your body going, whereas macronutrients are going to be what keeps you like literal energy for the entire day.
Yeah.
Man, our body is confusing.
I know.
I wish I had
never
a whole
want to
semester.
be in a relationship with her.
No, she's so needy.
My poor husband.
No.
He's like, I can't keep up. What person are you today?
And this isn't even throwing in the different variabilities of each body's your cycle. Heck, you have a disease that has specific nutrient amounts that you need. Yeah, so it is.
So give yourself some grace.
Give yourself some grace. We're figuring out. Doctors are still figuring it out. Dietitians are still figuring out. Everybody in the medical field are still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But nutrition does play that first line of defense when coming to what your body needs.
That's so true.
I hope to have a new episode next week, but literally I'm not promising, because Emma and I are traveling out of state for a friend's wedding.
Woo-hoo.
We're looking forward to that, and I'm just not promising it. I would love to say that
it's going to be some R&R, so we're not thinking that far in advance, to be honest.
But I hope you all have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, not Memorial Day weekend. And get you some R&R and have a hot dog on me. Dietitian's orders. Unless you're allergic to hot dogs, don't sue me. No. And I hope this sounds okay, because there's a high probability this is going to be super choppy, and I apologize in advance. I'm doing the best I can, folks.
David Dobrik, if you're hiring, let us know.
I wish.
Just kidding.
Anyway.
Alrighty. With that.
You've been dished.
You've been dished. Sorry, I thought you were closing it out.
We both do it.
I know, I forgot.
She goes 1 week and
I'm off the rhythm. I'm probably so loud right now. Rip to Sarah in headphones.
Okay, bye, guys. Love you. You've been dished.